Alright, and welcome back to the forecast card. Basically 9, 8, and 1 on the day. I think goes down like half a unit. Man, this tournament is so frustrating. I'm just gonna vent. There's not really a lot of games on today, so like half this video is just gonna be me venting about these games. God, I genuinely feel like all of my bets that hit are like sweat free, you know, obvious bets, and then whenever I lose a bet, it just most of the time it feels like there's some bullshit happened. Obviously, that's just some level of bias to some degree, but like the amount of times I just get like backdoored from bullshit or like just really annoying circumstances is definitely really frustrating. It seems like any close game does not go my way. I don't get any luck at the end. Any game that like dominated the whole way through is the only way I'm winning a bet. Um, just be like that sometimes. But yeah, let's go through each of these games. Florida, they only put up 77. I definitely think this was the right way to play this game. I should have just taken UConn. That's originally what I was going to bet on, but yeah, Florida for some reason had 12 turnovers this game. But even besides the fact, even with those turnovers, they still missed 12 free throws. Um, yeah, if they just hit 4 more free throws, we cash. Like they just missed 12 free throws. Um, yeah, I don't know. Turnover the ball way more than they probably should have. Statistically, they were the team that's supposed to be forcing turnovers, not UConn. Um, yeah, just a pathetic first half. They dropped 31 points in the first, 46 in the second. We had a chance at maybe getting a cover in overtime, but UConn just kind of imploded at the wrong time. It is what it is, but that one's first of all pissed me off. We're off by a 3-pointer from covering on that one, basically. Duke, again, sweat free, basically dominated that entire game after the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Kentucky versus Illinois over. I know someone in the comments had mentioned this was a bad bet. Again, it still ends at 159, basically 10 off, and that's with Illinois shooting 28% from three. Both teams shooting 60% from the free throw line. I really think this was the right side. Both these teams are typically pretty good free throw shooting teams, so the fact that they missed a combined 7, 15 in total, which probably would have drastically changed the game, especially if this game's tighter down the stretch and we get a free throw battle. We didn't end up even getting that because somehow Kentucky ended up blowing them out by 9 points. Yeah, both teams shoot terribly from three, and they dominated the paint. If they just hit more threes, this was such an easy cover. I genuinely believe it was the right side. Obviously, again, more bias, but they only scored 69 in the first half. The second half was a lot more indicative, where they scored 90 points. I was expecting that to happen twice. It is what it is. I actually genuinely thought that was the right side, even after the bet lost. St. Mary's versus Alabama under, almost kind of not sweat free at the end. It is, but yeah, that one was pretty close to the total. I think it finished at 146. So right side, but again, it's another one of those games where both teams shot terribly from three. Alabama still shot lights out. Both teams shot well from the free throw line. Yeah, this was basically just a pace game. Alabama only got 56 shots off, which was pretty impressive from St. Mary's, but they still got shit on. Maryland, man, I still think I'm honestly glad this Colorado State team is out because I'm sick and tired of people talking about how good they are. Like Maryland just played like shit. That's it. Like at the Colorado State, they could not shoot a three. For some reason, Maryland's bigs were not playing in the paint. I don't know why. Colorado State should not have out-rebounded them like that. Yeah, like on paper, Maryland should have won this game by like 20 points. I still have no idea how Maryland shot 5% worse than Colorado State and still ends up winning. Yeah, this game still pissed me off. I still really loved that bet. But Colorado State, I think they started the game shooting 8 for 8 for field goals. They could not miss to start the game. And then it was just basically Maryland trying to catch up the entire game. Ole Miss plus 5.5. Pretty proud of this one. This was a pretty one-sided game the entire way. So I wish I took them on the money line too, but I'm a bit of a coward, and I did not. Under 149.5. That was in the Michigan State game. That was a pretty solid bet. Total ended at 134, so that was pretty much sweat-free, especially considering the scoring picked up a lot in the second half. Oregon plus 4. Complete bullshit, man. Another game where this is like identical to the Houston game that pushed yesterday or 2 days ago, whatever it was. they just couldn't shoot their free throws, man. This should not have been a 4-point game. Oregon should have been winning, but they missed 10 free throws, 54%, and Arizona still managed to shoot 50% from the three. So I don't know. That one pissed me off. They just couldn't miss a free throw down the stretch either. While bullshit, Oregon missed one free throw, which would have been the difference between covering or not. Oklahoma State, again, sweat free. They won outright. Dominated that game for most of the game. North Texas, they had a 4-point lead. Like, they had a big lead for a lot of that game. They were up. Let me just scroll here. Yeah, they were up 4 with a minute left. And they just kept making the free throws, but Arkansas State just kept running in and scoring. They think they scored six hooks in a row. And, of course, North Texas scores a walk-off, too. Doesn't even give us a chance to cover in overtime. They only win that game by 2. San Francisco ended up losing outright, which I'm happy about. They just looked terrible. They out-rebounded them, limited their turnovers, but, again, somehow Loyola Chicago shoots 22 for 24 from the free throw line. Historically, not that great of a free throw shooting team. San Francisco shoots 37%. Not much to say. I think they were the better team, but they look like shit. And Loyola, again, could not miss their free throws. Free throws have been fucking me. Free throws and three-pointers. I bet a good three-pointing shooting team, they get outshot from three from a shitty three-pointing team. I bet on a good free throw shooting team, they get outshot from the free throw against a not good free throw shooting team. I don't know, man. Data doesn't matter, I guess. UC Irvine, backdoored. They were winning by 7, final seconds. The other team, Jacksonville State, misses, gets their own rebound, and scores 2 points, and then they don't foul. So, again, that happened basically twice. UC Irvine goes up 7, Jacksonville State misses, gets their own rebound, gets fouled, gets free throws. And that happened basically twice in the very last 2 possessions in 25 seconds, and they don't cover, winning by 5. But it is what it is. Fuck it. Kent State versus Stanford. This total ends at 152. Looks like it had no hope. I don't even know how. Now I'm looking at it. I don't know how it ended like that. But this total was sitting at 132 with like 2 minutes left. And then both teams just fouled for I'm not even kidding. Let me scroll here. Starting with 1 minute left. This is right when I lost my bet. It was at this is when it's at 134. Sorry, 138. So I haven't even lost my bet at this point. This was with a minute left. So 134, 138 with a minute left. Drive layup, 2 free throws, 2 free throws, 2 free throws, 2 free throws, fast break 3, free throws. They scored 15 points in the final minute. And there was even more scoring before that. There was 129 with 3 minutes left. I don't know. I'm just venting at this point. You don't need to watch this part. I'm just pissed off. UAB, Santa Clara. Again, all the bets that hit are completely sweat-free. This total ends at 172. Incarnate Word wins that game outright. Dominated that game the entire time. Elon, I don't know how they lost that game. Statistically, there's no reason that Army should have even had that game close, but I guess they didn't show up. They lose that game outright. Queens first half, they ended up winning this game by 30. So first half wasn't actually the right side, but they still covered the first half by 7 points. And Illinois State scores 80 points. So pretty sweat-free there. So I don't know, man. I felt like we could have swept today. I feel like every single bet had life if people could hit their fucking free throws or teams weren't shooting lights out for no reason. Maryland, top 25 defense, should not be letting up a team like Colorado State to make 8 shots in a row at the start of the game. I don't know. At least we ended up positive in theory on the day. Not in units, but in picks, but just pissed off. That's all I can say. This tournament's been not even fun to watch. I'm not even enjoying myself. Usually if I lose money and bet on games, at least I'm having fun, but 0 upsets, just blowouts. And the way I'm losing bets are just in the final seconds in garbage time. So anyway, that's it. That's all my venting. I think how long was that? 10 minutes? Oh, fuck me. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get into the 3 games for tomorrow. All right, heading on to game number 1, we have Incarnate Word versus Jacksonville. Now, I'm just going to ride with Incarnate Word here. Even though Jacksonville on paper has just a better offensive team, or at least definitely the better defensive team, I just think that the ASUN is dog shit. I think the Southland's actually been kind of decent this year. And even though Jacksonville's played a harder schedule, this Incarnate Word team, they're not very deep, but they have 3 seniors that I really like, and I think they want to finish off their year with a win. And I think this, a team that doesn't make it to the tournaments really ever, I think this invitation means a lot more to them than Jacksonville. And I think they're going to show up for it. Jacksonville, obviously, a pretty deep team, or sorry, the opposite, a very not deep team. They only have one guy that averages more than 10 points, and he's a junior. I don't think he's going to show up for this game. They rely on this junior way too much for their offense. Everyone else on their team, they have a bunch of guys that average 8. So I guess you could argue they're deep in that way, but yeah, this team honestly not good. They're due for a shit ton of negative regression. This Incarnate Word team, kind of studs. They got 3 seniors, like I said, all. Let me pull up their stats. Averaging 15, 15, and 16. And even then, they have a bench player that scores, another guy that scores basically double digits, scoring 9.9. They basically have 4 solid starting players. Yeah, we got Davion Bailey, 6'4", 200-pound senior, averages 17, 3, and 1, shoots 41% from the field. Jalen Anderson, another guard, senior, 6'3", 190, 14, 3, and 5. He's actually really fun to watch. And Dylan Heyman, 15, 5, and 2, 6'5", 205, senior. And then the last guy, he's a sophomore, but he's 6'7", 200. He's a big boy, and he's a power forward, but he's a sophomore. So again, I think 3 seniors versus 1 junior that's going to do everything. Yes, this is a quick turnaround game, but for Incarnate Word, having just played yesterday, I think Jacksonville's going to be ice cold. They haven't played for like over 2 weeks. I think Incarnate Word's going to want it more. I think they're the more experienced team coming out of a tougher division. And I think they're going to have a lot of success on the offensive glass, and shooting their mid-range and 3-pointers. So I think Jacksonville, if they're not hitting their 3s or mid-range, I think Incarnate Word here, with their extra level of motivation, can have some fun in this game. So yeah, fuck it. Give me Incarnate Word plus 3.5. Don't love the spot for either team. I think the line's pretty fair, but I think Incarnate Word here keeps this game really close. All right, heading on to game number 2, we have Army versus Florida Gulf Coast. Now, I don't really know how Army was able to beat this Elon team, probably because Elon had like 17 turnovers that game. And again, this is an Elon team that was up 21 points at a certain point. I don't know exactly what happened. I didn't watch the game, but I don't really think this Army team is that good. I think Florida Gulf Coast is a team that shows up more for these types of games than Elon does. It seems like they really just, I guess, didn't want to be there, or something happened. I don't even know. I don't see a first half line yet, but I would probably rather take the first half in all of these games. But actually more so in the other two, because they're coming off intense games. But Army just had to play an insane comeback game. I think they're going to be tired. Quick turnaround. This is basically going to be a home game for Florida Gulf Coast. I don't think these guys are elite athletes that are constantly training. Obviously, I guess they kind of are because they're in the military, but it's like a very different type of training. I guess they won't necessarily be too tired for this game, but it's still basically going to be a home game here for Florida Gulf Coast. It's going to be 200 miles from their house, 1,000 from Army's. They won their last 4 games at home, or close to home, while Army has lost 3 of their last 4, traveling over 200 miles. They don't really travel very much to play. And yeah, on paper, Florida Gulf Coast, I think it's just the more elite team. I think they're a team that could, have a chance to cover this. They're coming out of a tougher conference over the Patriot League. Let me pull up their schedule. Sorry, I had these open, but yeah. So model-wise, on a neutral floor, I have Florida Gulf Coast basically winning this game by 10. I think the line's pretty fair. They played a tougher schedule. They've been like a top 200, top 150 team in the year. They're going to find a ton of success offensively. Obviously, Army is one of the worst teams in college basketball. They just kind of shoot the mid-range okay. They should just did, but they're not a great defensive team by any stretch. I think Florida Gulf Coast, and a pretty solid team in general, is going to find success on offense, on the offensive boards. Yeah, and again, I think there's nothing really to look at this game. Army just hucks up a bunch of threes, and then they shoot like one of the worst in the raid. So if Florida Gulf Coast tries to play this game, they're going to win this game by like 15 points. But I might end up just taking the first half once the lines come out. But I just have first full game lines on BetMGM, which is where all these are coming from. Yeah, just give me a Florida Gulf Coast here. I think it's a bad spot for Army, travel-wise, and I think Florida Gulf Coast is shitty enough of a team where they actually would want to play in this tournament and win it more than a team, I guess, like Jacksonville, that might be a slightly better team in their conference than Florida Gulf Coast. Yeah, that's it for this game. Honestly, if I had to guess, just because I guess the Horizon is a better conference than the ASUN, but I like Queens here. Again, I know they just played, but this game's actually going to be closer for them than it is for Cleveland State. Cleveland State hasn't played in a long time. I think they're just ready to move on with their year. I don't think they're going to come up for this game. Queens, they just had a really impressive performance. I think that shows that they have more heart in this spot. Obviously, Cleveland State is the more talented squad here, but I think Queens has been playing better than enough the year. They're a really good team when playing on a away court. They're a team that hucks up a lot of threes. This game's basically, in my opinion, going to come down to if Queens can hit their threes, because Cleveland State cannot defend the three well at all. But they are a pretty elite mid-range team. They're not that great in the paint. I think Queens is going to find success here. They'll get to line up a decent amount. Cleveland State, not great offensively, but they're good at forcing turnovers. Queens is pretty solid on their own boards. They're a top 100 team at limiting second chance opportunities. But they do turn the ball over quite a bit. That's going to be, in my opinion, how this game's decided. If Queens can hit their threes and not turn the ball over, even if they can hit their three at like their average, which is like 35%, I think they can win this game. If not, just at least do enough to cover. So, yeah, I do like the spot here for Queens on the spread. All right, and to summarize, fuck the tournament. No, sorry. Yeah, I'm frustrated. I feel like I spend so long like trying to handicap these games just for nothing that I handicap to even be close to what happens in the game. I feel like these tournaments are just pure coin flips. If there's someone doing really good in this tournament, let me know, because I feel like everyone I'm close with is having either like a decent day or a terrible day. Unless you're like really chalky and just take like them big spreads on a lot of these teams. Even then, like maybe Duke was chalky today, but a lot of dogs won. So it just seems like anything could happen in these games, which is the beauty of March. But in terms of handicapping, like the actual box scores don't reflect genuinely anything that I'm seeing in analytics. So definitely mentally frustrating. Just kind of try to hope. Like for the Colorado State game, for example, maybe they just had more heart. They wanted it more. A team that doesn't really make it that far in these tournaments, maybe that's how you have to handicap it. But then again, you see teams that like Baylor really wanted it, and they just got fucking trashed by Duke. So you don't know what you're gonna get. So as always, just be good with your units. Like I always say, like if you bet 20 games and you go 0-20, and you're depressed at night, you're probably betting too much in unit sizes. Just play within your means. For at the end of the day, honestly, if I'm being honest, in my lifetime of gambling, I've probably made like $1,000 from actual model bets, and I've probably made like $15,000 from just promo betting and EV betting. This is kind of more fun for me, but I do suggest you all look into betting strategies that will help you be profitable long term, so you can kind of bet the games that you want to without being too stressed about them. I do highly suggest trying to look into EV betting. It's probably the best way. Typically, you don't even have to be like an annoying EV better where you look for line mismanagements. As long as you just like look for boosts that are technically profitable and max them, you'll make money over time. That's basically all I do. I have like 25 books that I use. I check them for promos, boosts, and I use those to make money long term. But yeah, I highly suggest to never bet too much, especially in college basketball. In terms of like standard deviation of results, this is one of the most highly variable sports in college basketball, with the most upsets than most any other sports. So have fun with it. Do your best in finding sides and that you like and analyzing it. But at the end of the day, this is definitely a tough sport to handicap. I will be posting videos from baseball. Statistically, one of the sports with the most data available. It's really fun to handicap, especially. I'm probably gonna do daily home run videos. I've been pretty profitable the last few seasons, just picking home runs, singles, and then doing them in a parlay. I usually hit like 3 to 4 3-leg parlays for home runs every single year, and that's just more fun again. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Actually, I assume I will. I don't even know if there's that many games going on, if it's even warranting a video to do. But I will definitely be back. Maybe I'll take a break until the tournament's kind of get my head right, and hopefully lock in, try to figure out some better angles to take these games on. But thanks so much for watching again, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow.